Hello, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the Horoscopes. So what I usually do is draw a card for each zodiac sign. And last night was the new moon in Capricorn. So it's the first lunar cycle of 2021. So we are in a new cycle. And the lunar cycle in Capricorn is all about stability, finances, career, grounding, centering, all of that. All right, so let us begin. I'm going to start with my Aries people, the first sign of the zodiac. So that's another debate people have too, is when is the actual new year? In a lot of ancient cultures, the new year did not start until March 21st, which is the spring equinox, and that's why Aries is the first sign. Now, this is January 1st is more like the secular Western New Year, and if you remember from biology class, um, it's the amount of time it takes for the Earth to go around the sun, 365 point something days. So that's January 1st, like the Earth has completed its solar cycle, right? But astrologically speaking, okay, and I learned this from one of my astrologer friends, Luce. She said that, around January, there is no kind of celestial event or phenomenon that is happening that kind of heralds a new year. So the ancients had different New Years, depending upon, sometimes it was marked by a religious event. Um, in their tradition or culture, but a lot of times, the spring equinox was the beginning of the year. Now, what had happened was in ancient Rome, Julius Caesar changed it to January, but originally it was March, and even in the early Christian era, the I believe it was the Annunciation, which is March 25th, where Gabriel appeared to the Virgin Mary, was considered the new year at first. But then they eventually switched to January 1st. So I know in Persian culture, the spring equinox is still the new year, which is a tradition that survived even when Persia converted to Islam, and even later under the Ayatollahs, when they imposed a lot of religious restrictions upon society, they couldn't get rid of the New Year celebration. It's just something that continued. Okay, so um, that being said, happy secular New Year if you want to put it like that. But generally, astrologically speaking, the New Year begins around the spring equinox. So make of it what you will. All right, so I'm gonna start with my Aries people. Um, Happy New Year, guys. I'm gonna try to answer all the comments, but to preserve the flow of things, I may leave that for the end because once you get on a roll, you get on a roll. All right, so for my Aries people, my favorite animal is here, the wolf, and your card is called Winter. Winter is coming. Winter is here. Take care of your needs. So as you know, the wolf is the an animal that is very family oriented, and like they look at what is good for the whole pack, not just the individual. However, my dear Aries people, in order to care for the pack, in order to care for the group, one must care for oneself first. All right, so it's saying to put your needs first, my Aries people, to take care of your needs, to make sure that you're at 100%, that you are focusing on your emotional and physical and psychological and spiritual well-being first, and then you could be the alpha male or female and lead the pack. Okay, and it's interesting that the wolf is here. Aries, of course, is ruled by the planet Mars, and what is the sacred animal of Mars is the wolf. Okay, interesting connotation. And then the whole story of the founding of Rome with Romulus and Remus. They were the sons of the god Mars and the priestess Rhea Silvia. And who did he send to take care of them after they were abandoned? A she-wolf. And that was a symbol of Rome. So it all kind of ties together. All right, for my Taurus people, for my bulls. All right. Now this is kind of hard for us. I mean, Not so much for me personally. I mean, I could be a stubborn Taurus, but my rising is Gemini, so sometimes I kind of take on that aspect. So if you want to know something, when you hear spiritual people or astrologers talk about their sun sign, their rising sign, their moon sign, okay, like a lot of um pop culture astrology only focuses on the sun sign, like, and that's like the end all of things, but that's not the case. Okay, so like for me, for example, my sun is in Taurus, and that's like my real personality. And then there's the rising sign, that's a side that you show to the world. So in my rising sign is Gemini, so maybe I give off a Gemini vibe to people, who knows. Like, and then the moon sign is the emotional side, and my moon is in Aquarius. So all of these things like make us up as a whole. So it's not just the sun sign. Like, like you want to know, especially if you're getting to know people, like where their Venus is, where their Mars is, where their moon sign is, because it tells you a lot about the person. Okay, so air guardian. Okay, shift your perception. So for my stubborn Taurus people like myself, sometimes it's good to see other viewpoints. Sometimes it's good to change your perception. Maybe your way of thinking is not helping the situation, or maybe you need a fresh insight onto something. Maybe you need to get advice on something. Maybe you need clarification. Maybe you need to sit down with your spiritual guardians and have a little confab. So it's all about seeing things differently, okay? Looking at things from different angles and not just being one-sided. So for my Taurus people, perception. Shift your perception. You might discover something good. I know that I'm going to take this advice for myself. All right, now, my rising sign, Gemini. I like this one. The warrior. Fearless and stand strong. So for my Gemini people, do not back down. Stand your ground and be resilient. You may be going through difficulties. People may be trying your patience. Do not back down. You're close to where you need to be. You're close to that victory, my Gemini people. So hang in there. Don't give up the fight. Call on your warrior ancestors. Call on that warrior spirit within and fight. Cancerian. From my crabby Cancer. This is another kind of like kind of similar to Taurus, is about perceptions, shifting of perceptions, but also like being multifaceted. So it's the shapeshifter. Oh, the name of this deck is the Angels and Ancestor Oracle, I believe. I have so many decks. Don't judge. And people give them as gifts too. And it says transform and unveil your gifts. So for my Cancerian people, for my Cancer people, the shapeshifter. So it's like sometimes you got to adapt, and sometimes you got to be able to respond to outside changes and stimuli. Okay? So again, don't get stuck in one perception. Don't get stuck in one way of thinking. Change if need be. So Cancer is a water sign. So you guys and girls are very adept at this. Adept at doing this. So it's a matter of like, okay, if one approach is not working, right? Try a different approach and see if that helps the situation. All right, for my Leo, my lions. The directional guardian, choose your path. So these are the four in Ezekiel in the Bible that talked about the cherubim that stand before the throne of the Creator. So, and they represent the four qualities: the human, the lion, I think that's a cow, and the eagle, and they represent the four elements. And my uncle, who's a Jehovah's Witness, actually explained this to me, that they represent the four qualities of man. I think it's like the heart, the intellect, or something. I'd have to ask him. It's like, but they represent things. So it says choose your path. Now, when I got a reading like maybe 10 years ago from a Haitian Ugan, a priest in Voodoo, and what came out was a Haitian proverb. I don't know the Creole, what it is in Creole, but it was basically the English translation was a dog has four legs, right? But can only walk one path. So for my Leo people, it's saying that there's only one right choice or one decision. So it's kind of different than the other ones of shifting perception. This is more like choose the right way. Okay? Like if you're at a crossroads, the left may not be the way, the right might not be the way, going back may not be the way. Maybe the best way is to go straight ahead. But pick a path and stick with it. And don't be wishy-washy about it. And don't be like, oh, I don't know. No. So it's saying to be firm. Make a decision and be firm and stick with it. Okay, so for my Leo people, it's saying, like again, like that proverb says, the Creole proverb, the dog has four legs but can only walk one way, one path. So when you pick that path, you stick with it. You stick with it. Virgo, the High Priestess, the harnessing of mystical power. Okay, so my Virgo people, this is all about your manifestation. This is all about your will. This is all about your intuition and all of these things. And when I think of Virgo and I think of mystical things, I think of the goddess Persephone, who is the spring maiden and the queen of the underworld. So you could be both, it's like you could rule above and below. So it's saying, my dear Virgos, to be like Persephone, to be the king or queen of all that you survey, from the upper world to the lower world, and to harness that inner power within. Okay, so it's all about going inward and making that manifestation happen. Okay, so for my Virgo people, all the answers, and I should say this with this British accent, so all the answers lie within. Libra, the star ancestor. Follow the voice of your soul. So this is very poetic. So it reminds me, there is an occult axiom. It says, I don't remember who was the person, or maybe it's like one of those things that get passed down, but there was like, I am a child of the earth, but my race is of the starry heavens. In other words, if you look at ancient cultures like the Dogon in Mali, in Northwest Africa, and other cultures around the world, they have this idea that, humans were dropped off here by aliens. Okay? Whether we believe this or not, it's like, I'm sorry, I have a healthy skepticism of certain things, but I could see it, I mean, like one of my friends told me about the TV show Battlestar Galactica, where the aliens, dropped us off and then they went away into space and they came back millions of years later, and they started at the beginning, like Earth was starting over or something. So this is whether you look at this from as a literal or a metaphorical point of view, it's basically saying that, my dear Libra people, that embrace your individuality, embrace your weirdness perhaps, and know that you are unique in your own way, and you don't have to conform to the norms of society and so forth. So it's you have to follow your inner voice, whatever that's telling you to do. And it may sound ludicrous, it may sound like you cannot do it, but it can be done. So, and some people, like, I know a lot of spiritual people talk about like the star seeds. So if you're a Libra person and are into that whole like extraterrestrial stuff, this is speaking to you. All right. This is Scorpio. I had to think for a second. All right. This is the Peacekeeper. All right. Let go of the need to be right. Ooh, that is a difficult thing to do, because once I like start an argument, I want to finish it. But it's saying, Scorpio is saying that sometimes to choose your battles wisely. Not all battles have to be won. Not necessary, and winning is not necessarily a victory. It can cause like drama So it's saying basically, Scorpio, avoid the drama, avoid the need to be right. Sometimes you just have to walk away from a situation and just let it be. And think of your own inner peace first, because winning that battle might be more of a headache in the long run. So it's like saying, choose your battles wisely. You know, if someone offends you and everything, sometimes you just gotta walk away from the situation and not get into this whole freaking argument on Facebook or social media or in real life or something. Not saying to be a doormat. Never be a doormat. But saying sometimes it's like, sometimes maybe the person's anger is not even about you. Maybe they're just, having a bad day or something. Sometimes it is okay to walk away from the situation. Okay. Sagittarius. The Mirror Guardian. Take time to reflect. Okay, so Sagittarius, it's saying that, you have a lot on your plate. You're dealing with a lot, but take that time for self-reflection. Take that time to recharge. Take that time to rest. Take that time to renew and really look within. Maybe journaling, maybe meditation, maybe some yoga, maybe just going for a walk somewhere. It is okay. You don't have to save the world all the time. So that's my message from my Sagittarius people. Okay. Capricorn. I like this card too. I think it's Aboriginal. The elder, moving beyond ancestral patterns. And it's interesting. I believe the ancients and the mystery schools talked about the two ways or the two gates or something. The gate of the ancestors was Capricorn, and the gate of the gods was Cancer. So as you know, Cancer and Capricorn are opposite signs. Okay, and if you look at like the Earth's geography, we have the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer, where the winter solstice and the summer solstice occur, you know. So those two signs are opposites. So this Capricorn relates to ancestral healing. Okay, so when we talk about generational curses, we talk about ancestral patterns, we talk about family problems and difficulties. A lot of people are going through this. A lot of people are seeing patterns throughout generations and they're trying to break this. So for my Capricorn people, this is the time to break this. The new moon is in Capricorn in your sign. Excuse me. This is the start. Okay, this is a start to healing. This is a start to breaking those patterns. We wouldn't exist if it wasn't for our ancestors, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to follow in all their footsteps. Okay, um, so it is about healing ourselves and elevating ourselves, but also healing and elevating our ancestors. Aquarius is the moon. Take note of intuitive messages. So now we're at the moon, the new moon, so the beginning of a new lunar cycle. So for my Aquarius people, I know y'all are deep dreamers, because some of you tell me all your dreams and the detail and the vividness of it. So it's like saying that your dreams contain those messages. Your dreams contain the answers. That all of that information is being given to you now, my dear Aquarian people. So as we move um, into this new lunar cycle, the next lunar cycle is going to be yours. The moon will be in your sign. So this particular lunar cycle, pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to your hunches, pay attention to your dreams. The answers will be there. Okay, for my Piscean people, y'all go through a lot. So it is saying now is a time to ground. Now is a time to center. Okay? The Earth Mother. Feel loved and comforted. So it's like saying know that, despite what is happening, that look to your support system, whether that's family, whether it's friends, whether it's spiritual family or whoever. Look to your support system and ground. Okay? Stay centered, stay focused, stay in the present. Do not dwell on the past, do not dwell on the future. And stay connected to the earth and the natural rhythm of things. And maybe all those emotional upheavals and ups and downs will subside. Okay, so that's the 12 signs, ladies and gentlemen. So if you would like a more in-depth reading, please contact me. So these are just the general energies for the signs for this upcoming um, lunar cycle, the beginning, in Capricorn. So I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Love you all. Mm. Have a good day. Bye.